How's it going, everyone? It's that Blue Abarth here, and welcome back to the channel and another video. Now, you join me on, well, a bit of a cold Sunday, but thankfully today this video is going to be in the car. We ain't going to be outside in that crazy wind. I'm just sat here and I can see things blowing about like crazy, and it definitely ain't warm, that's for sure. So we're going to be enjoying the warmth of the Abarth today, because we're going to be talking about something I've never talked about before, and I haven't seen many of us talk about either, and that is the driving modes you get in an Abarth 595. And there's two, that being comfort and sport mode, and we're going to talk about both of those in detail today, but we're going to focus more on comfort mode, because that's something that, well, not many Abarth owners talk about, because hey, let's be real and let's be honest, how many of us drive around in comfort mode in an Abarth? I imagine it's not many of us. I mean, Motor and Mouse Ball, if you're watching this, be honest, how many times have you put your Abarth into comfort mode? I mean, we always drive around in sport. So I thought today I'd take the chance to just make this video and kind of talk about the benefits of comfort mode and how it completely changes the car. Because in the Abarths, the sport button, it actually does something. Unlike a few other cars I've been in, you flick it in sport mode and not really much changes or nothing happens at all. But when you press it in this, it's a completely different kettle of fish. So we're going to get started with comfort mode and everything that you get with it.
Now, when you activate comfort mode, a few things do change, such as throttle, steering, suspension, exhaust, turbo gauge and instrument cluster. And if we go into it in a little bit more detail, the steering becomes a lot lighter, so you get more angle when turning, so things like 3-point turns and tight bends become a lot easier. The throttle response is also turned down a notch, so everything's a lot smoother and less aggressive than it is in sport mode, though the power is still there and it will deliver it quite well, you just have to tap the pedal a little bit more. Comfort mode will also turn the volume down on the exhaust, though this is more noticeable on the Competizione because the Monza is valved. So if you do have a Competizione, you will hear the audible difference between comfort and sport mode. If you have any other model, this won't really be noticeable. I put a question mark next to this one, so I'm not too sure, but I feel like comfort mode makes the suspension a lot softer. It doesn't feel as harsh as it does in sport mode, but I could be wrong on this. You also get a very informative display in comfort mode with a very relaxed backdrop. You get to see things like MPG, range and other bits along with a big speedometer. But in sport mode, everything changes. You get a nice sporty startup animation, a red backdrop with the Abarth logo, a G-force meter and your tyre information. You do still get your MPG and some of your trip computer along with it as well, but a lot more of the sporty aspects are prioritised in sport mode, which only makes sense. And you also get that cool little animation.
Right then, folks, it's time for the driving segment, my favourite part of the video. And well, it's going to be a little bit different today because we are rolling around in comfort mode. And I'm going to be talking to you about how it feels on the road and just how much of a difference it makes, really, because honestly, it is a massive difference to sport mode. With all of those features that I discussed just a minute ago, it really does change how the car feels when driving. So, just get my seatbelt on because safety first. And oh, guys, I was just setting up the camera there, it's on the little like tripod. I had to go around to the other side of the car, which meant getting out of the car. And whew, it is very windy out there. It's not like crazy cold, but it is there is still a breeze there and it is a bit nippy, but it's so warm in here, very lovely indeed. Got my driving gloves on as well, folks, and you can see the new gear stick in today's video too, which I think it was in the last video. Yeah, I think it was, but you get to see it again today, and honestly, I love using this, guys. It's been fantastic using this gear stick. I understand why the Competizione's owners love it so much. So as you can hear, very nice start up there. I believe the boot mat is down, the little bit that sits up against the boot there. So you might be able to hear a lot more of the car today. But let's get rocking and rolling. So I'll just put the handbrake down here. Now we are in comfort mode and we're going to get started. So one thing I think about comfort mode is that it makes everything so much smoother. When pulling away, the car feels a lot, well, smoother, and it's not as aggressive, which I guess makes sense. Another thing is that you can short shift, so your MPG will go up a lot when you're in comfort mode, which is of course very nice indeed. It is nice to keep a lot of your fuel because, hey, I mean, not that I mind putting in fuel for the car, but if I can keep the fuel as long as possible, then that's a win in my book. So everything just feels really nice and relaxed. Like, you can cruise around in any gear and it just feels really nice. And like I mentioned earlier, not too sure if it is psychosomatic, but the car does feel a lot nicer over bumps and it just doesn't feel as harsh as it usually does. And guys, please, if you do know if that's actually a thing, please leave in the comment section down below, because I would be very intrigued to know, because it feels much better. But I'm just cruising here at 26 miles per hour in third gear. The car's not screaming, feels really nice. Comfort mode is a lovely option to use. And I can shift now, smooth as you like. That's one thing about comfort mode as well, is that going through the gears feels a lot better too. Everything's a lot more comfortable and a bit more relaxed, instead of being super aggressive, and it feels a lot more toned down, which I guess is the whole point of comfort mode. You do still get a nice bit of noise from the exhaust as well. Of course, if you do have a competizione, you will notice a massive audible difference when you have it in comfort mode. But I still think there's a nice amount of noise. Still get a lot of pops and bangs as well, which is awesome. So yeah, you can short shift and the car will be absolutely fine with it. It doesn't really like it in sport mode. It wants you to get up the rev band a bit and then shift. But in comfort mode, it's perfectly fine with a bit of short shifting. And I'm currently averaging about 45 mpg right now, which is fantastic for a little hot hatch like this. And my current range is actually going up as I speak. So I believe the last time I filled this was last night or yesterday, and I was at about 230 when I filled up. I am now at 267. So driving in comfort mode actually increases my range. Now, whether that's realistic or not, I'm not too sure, but hey, I don't mind at all. The more range, the better, because then I get to drive the car more. So it's a win-win situation. One thing as well with comfort mode is that it sort of pulls you along a little bit more when you let off the throttle. One thing I've noticed in sport mode, is that when you let off the throttle, it will immediately start to engine brake, which I suppose is fantastic. I guess if you're having a fun little session, engine braking is great. It means you don't have to rely on the brakes so much. But with comfort mode, if I just get up a little bit, yeah, so it took about a second, I'd say, before the engine braking kicked in. So you sort of coast along, which is kind of nice. Shift it into fourth gear here. It's so relaxing. It's really nice to drive. And you'd think that a crazy, aggressive little hot hatch like this would just be mental and just, you know, insane all the time to drive. But it really is a pleasure in comfort mode. I really do like it. And I'm starting to sort of drive it more in comfort mode now. I'm seeing myself using comfort mode a lot more than usual, because it is just such a nice thing to have. And you can still use it about town and on the motorway too, which is really nice. So you can go about your day and not be inconvenienced by comfort mode. Because usually, all us Abarth owners, we stick it in sport. But I think maybe comfort mode is something we should be using a little bit more. Now, of course, it's not as fast as sport mode is. Of course, when you put your foot down in sport, well, hey, off you go. But I find that there's still a nice bit of torque and power in comfort. Like, I'm on a straight road here now, and if I just back down to 20, we'll do the tiniest little pull. Oh, yeah, that's pretty good, guys. I've got to admit that is still a decent amount of shove, even for, like, well, an eco comfort type mode. There's still enough power to get you along. So if you need to get out of a junction, or if you need to join the motorway, you still have enough power. Like, I'll just go onto a bit more of a fast-paced road where it's a national speed limit, and then I'll put my foot down, see what it's like. Oh yeah, that exhaust is sounding really nice, by the way. It's starting to get that rasp from a Monza, which is so cool. And you can still blow up in comfort mode, so awesome stuff. So we're about to go into a national speed limit, doing 25 here. Third gear. Oh, lovely. Just coming to a roundabout, guys. It's sort of like a road attached to a few roundabouts, so we're just gonna stop here, wait for some cars. But that is, wow, actually I'm super surprised by that. Like I say, I don't use comfort mode very often, so I haven't been able to experience what it's like. But second gear here, that's really good. That's not far off from sport mode, actually. And of course sport mode is much quicker, but that's surprisingly quick for a comfort mode. That, wow, I am super impressed by that. And you still get the Armageddon style doomsday bangs from the exhaust, so you're not losing anything when it comes to sound. So just back on ourselves. That is decent, folks. Very decent. Overall, comfort mode is a fantastic thing to use, and because we use sport mode so much, I think we don't get to appreciate how good comfort mode is. Everything's just toned down and relaxed. It's really nice. A good example here, you probably can't see it on video, but I'm just about to do a little 3-point turn in this little area here. And look at this, there's so much more steering, and it's really, really nice too. So, full lock, how much more angle do I get? Oh yeah, that is fantastic. There's so much more angle in comfort mode as opposed to sport. If I'd have tried that in sport, I'd probably have to take maybe another 2 turns, maybe, to get straight again. There's so much more you can do in comfort. Of course, it does take you a little bit longer to get used to the spongy pedal, but once you've mastered it, it's fine. It really is. Just reversing back here now. And that'll do for today's video, folks. I really hope you enjoyed it. Just a quick informative video. And if you'd like me to do any more of this informative style of content, then please feel free to leave any ideas in the comment section down below. If there's anything you want me to talk about specifically, then please feel free to say something in the comments, because I'll happily record anything, guys. I always enjoy making a video, and I do quite enjoy making these informative type of videos. I think it's quite fun. Plus we get to go on a drive as well, so it's a win-win situation. But if you'd like to see that type of content on the channel or anything else at all, and if you're new, you know what to do. Hit that bell, like, comment and subscribe, all of that good stuff, as it's always appreciated. And we are so close to 500 subscribers, guys. I cannot wait. It's gonna be awesome. Can we do it before the end of the month? Let's see. But I'll see you in the future, guys. Have a good one.